Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Welcome back. I put out two videos with the memes on here. One I just put with music, and one I'm going to put here with commentary. I think sometimes it's important to discuss some of the memes. That's the new way of communication and making a point in today's internet world. And I just thought it'd be really cool to go through those. As you can see, one of them is going to be Maxine Waters' Frankenstein. How frightening is that? And there you have our president sniffing your girl's hair. So let's go to the memes and let's talk about them. And here we are. We're going to discuss the memes a little bit, some of the ones that I brought up. Here's one here that somewhat timely. The battle between Elon Musk and free speech on formerly Twitter, now X. And he called out Iger, he's the CEO of Disney, not to advertise. So I don't know how accurate this is. I did some checking. It seems about right. They lost 23 million subscribers, and that's a big deal. And we are in a culture war, folks. Make no mistake about it. What do they call it? A parallel economy. I watched the Daily Wire, the new movie called Lady Ballers. It's pretty funny. It really is. And it's supposed to be satirical. It's not like a, high drama from Hollywood. It's supposed to be satirical, and they succeed brilliantly. So we're going to see how this works out. As usual, it's up to the American people. Now, we're going to go through a couple more here just to see. This is so true that I can't even tell you. BLM did not start under Trump. It started under Obama, and you can read the rest. I remember when I used to be a Democrat in upstate New York, I was a local elected official. I'm a Republican for over a decade now. When Obama got elected the second time, I was at the watch party, as they call it here locally in upstate New York, when Obama won re-election. And I didn't look particularly happy. Not that I was thrilled with the Republican candidate. And I remember local Big Shot's husband asked me at the party why I didn't look very happy. And I said, this is the road that's going to start splitting this country in half. And I'm fearful what will happen. And it's exactly what happened. Sowed the seeds of division and hatred, meanwhile looking like you're not. Now, this is one for fun that I threw in. Testicular injuries in women's sports. Listed from 1980 to date. It very well goes along with the Lady Ballers film from the Daily Wire. And here's one here I threw in. If you live in upstate New York or in the north, you get snow. And I remember I worked at a grocery store for a very long time. I owned my own convenience store for 22 years. And whenever there's a prediction of a little bit of snow, everybody goes bat crap crazy and wipes out the eggs and milk. And they turn around the next day and just go to the store. It's really ridiculous, but that's the way people panic buy. They're afraid they're gonna be left out. Now, this one's a little more serious. Never forget the Democrats cheered rioters for 8 months, and that's true. Before they were outraged by January 6th. Will we ever get the entire story of what happened on January 6th? No. Very much like the Kennedy assassination. Remember, they were said it's worse than 6 9/11s and blah, blah, blah. And I do have to say, though, honestly, the Democrats played that January 6th riot beautifully. Played it beautifully. And, of course, they had the help of the mainstream media. And then, of course, Twitter was not owned by Elon Musk. So things would have been a lot different. A lot different. Because they had the cover. The Democrats had the cover of the media to basically censor information they didn't want out. So let's continue on here. It's tough. Now, this one, I think, is not a play on words. It actually means what it says. As you show here, it's a family of 5 kids and the parents. And I believe that's Thomas Massey, but I can't be sure. Who's a sharp guy? I don't always agree with him. He's a sharp guy. And he says, the Second Amendment does not grant us the right to bear arms. It doesn't. All the rights that are listed in the Bill of Rights are God-given rights. The Second Amendment denies the government the authority to infringe upon our right to bear arms. That's exactly right. Government does not give us any rights at all. Zero. They're God-given rights, and every law that's passed is an infringement on those rights to a certain extent. And right now, the two-way battle is going through the courts. I wish the Supreme Court would grow a spine, but then, that's wishful thinking. It's here's one I found. It was kind of funny. Remember, the 40-foot tree in front of the White House collapsed, and it wasn't Biden's fault. I mean, I'll give him that. But the fact of the matter is, it's symbolic for what's really going on. The tree falling, and people had a lot of fun with it, and it's symbolic. It's symbolic. Now, this is actually true. If you ever feel like you've been forgotten, just remember there was another person on the plane with Amelia Earhart when she went missing. That reminds me of somebody mentioned, can you imagine going through all the training, being smart enough, physically capable, fearless enough to become an astronaut in the United States? That's like the cream on top of the cream on top of the cream on top of the cream. The 1/10,000th of 1%. And not only that, but you get to go to the moon and walk on the moon. Now, we all remember the first person to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong. Who was the last person to walk on the moon? And all the guys in between. Talk about feeling like you've been forgotten. How would you like to be in that 1/10,000th of 1%, which is a great enough achievement, and then walk on the moon and nobody remembers who the hell you are? That, folks, is sad, and this is the way things are. I just thought I got a kick out of that one. This is the one Hillary Clinton basically implied, if I were to be prosecuted, I'd take half of Washington, D.C. with me. I don't see a problem. Yeah, it would be a bloodbath. It would be a bloodbath legally. Now, these are from some younger people and some older ones, too, because there's some older baby boomers like myself that are absolutely clueless on history, especially world history, when it comes to disarming the population. No matter how you feel about guns, you should educate yourself in the historical truths of disarmed populations. That is so right. Look at the 1930s in Germany. We use that as a shining example. All the horrible things that happened to unarmed people in Africa, the millions slaughtered through ethnic cleansing in Africa, and through the former Yugoslavia, Southeast Asia, China, the Soviet Union, now Russia, you name it. History is with example after example after example. But yet somehow, some way, that doesn't matter. It's sad. This is kind of a funny one here, too. Never criticize your husband's faults. Well, if you criticize his faults and he fixes them, he's going to be a lot better, so he'll look for another wife. And maybe these small imperfections that prevented him from getting a better wife. And I thought I'd throw that in for fun. It was kind of funny. It's really true. Now, this is the one from President Trump. I want you to think about this for a minute. If you were on trial to lose your entire business and lose everything you had that you've worked for your whole life and you're a billionaire, and the judge that was presiding over the case had a wife that put out some crappy things like F Trump and blah, 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 and then deleted her account when the heat was getting too much. Of course, there's one on the internet. It's always on there. You get a mistrial instantly. You would get a mistrial. Think of it this way. Say this way the progressives can grasp this concept. Say a young black man was on trial, and all the media says he was innocent, he was railroaded, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And the judge presiding over the case had a wife that put out very extreme white supremacy things on social media, Twitter, and otherwise, and did it repeatedly over time, and slammed that individual that was on trial at the same time. There'd be a hell to pay. there would be a mistrial. The state or the federal government would step in. Of course, in New York State, they won't. That's where I live, unfortunately. They won't step in. The federal government would step in instantly if it was roles were reversed. But unfortunately, the rules don't apply when it's someone we hate. It's astounding. And a double standard in the judicial system is a sure way to destroy the country and split it in half. This one I put in there, I used to say this all the time when I was a local elected official in the early 2000s. You know, there's always going to be people that don't like you, whether you're in business like I was, or have my channel here, or I was a city councilman for 8 years. It's okay if you don't like me. Not everyone has good taste. There's always going to be 20, 25% that just don't like you. And that's the way it is. You got to get thick skin. And I learned that over time with my business as well as being an elected official. And not everyone has good taste, you know. So I threw that in there just for like little life lesson for you younger people. Not everybody is going to like you, so don't worry about it. Just do what you got to do. Now this one, there's some amazing stuff being done with Photoshop and all kinds of other things. This is a Photoshop of, looks like Herman Munster or Frankenstein with a Maxine Waters face. I mean, honest to God, how would you like to live in a house you saw that every day? What a miserable woman this is. Former Black Panther, by the way. So let's get off there before I traumatize too many people. Oh, gosh, unbelievable. Now, this is from Brandon Streck. He ended up getting probation, I believe a short jail time, I don't remember, for not even going in the Capitol on January 6th. Remember, Maxine Waters openly called for violence and harassment against Republicans and Trump supporters. Not only that, while President Trump was president, the cabinet members of President Trump, if any sitting congressman will be barred from re-election because of inciting violence, it should be Maxine Waters, not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene did not cite any violence, but Maxine Waters did, explicitly said so. Now, I threw this in for fun. Like I said, I worked in I was an apartment store manager for 9 years. I worked in a grocery store for 7. I had my own convenience store for 22. And you put up signage all the time. And I think this isn't a mistake. You would put ASST period. I think the person that did this did it just for jollies, craps and giggles, as they say. So it might not be the best abbreviation, but I threw that in there because I thought it was funny. ASS fudge is probably not a good sign to make. Now this one here, not just Rod Serling, but I'll read the meme and I'll tell you a little bit about Rod Serling I know personally. Imagine if you will start a virus so smart that attacks every 4 years during presidential elections. Now, Rod Serling is from my hometown of Binghamton, New York. He's quite a bit older than me if he was still alive. We went to the same high school, Binghamton Central. And once or twice a year, Rod Serling would come back and speak to the public speaking class, which I was one of them in the class. And I talked to him a couple of times. One time, 5 or 10 minutes. It was a nice chat. He's a very cool guy. Short. I'm 5'9", and he's shorter than I am, but a very cool guy. And back then, of course, you could smoke on school grounds, and he was a chain smoker. I mean, literally. Lit one cigarette and then went from another to another all day long. But it's just interesting. It's just interesting that a guy like that could come from just a regular old town like mine, about 45,000 people, and become world known and world famous. What an amazing mind and what an amazing talent that's still being watched to this day. I thought I'd throw that in there just for the heck of it. Now this one, here's another one here. Now they just expelled Santos from Congress. It extremely rarely happens. I think the guy's a scumbag, but that doesn't matter. You have to go through the process. If he's going to get put on trial and he's found guilty, okay, you get expelled. That's what I don't like. It's kind of the congressional version of doxing and just screwing over people before they're convicted. It looks like he's guiltier than hell. We do have a court system, and that didn't happen. But then we turn around and see Swalwell here, who was a sitting Congress member, screwing around with a Chinese spy, sleeping with her, had a relationship. Yeah, it's just amazing to me. And no, the crazy part of it is not only was he expelled or somebody tried to have him expelled for that, he sat on the Intelligence Committee. That's no crap. He sat on the Intelligence Committee while sleeping with a Chinese spy. Granted, she's cute. She's not enough cute to screw over your own country. But it's funny how the two-tier justice system will tear us all to pieces. And we're getting towards the end here. Every morning I wake up grateful that I'm not brainwashed, anti-American, liberal, POS. Piece of blank. Yeah, I do too. And I'm glad of that. And I'm glad of our Constitution, the Founding Fathers, and the Republic that we do have. But here's the problem. More and more and more people are thinking the opposite. So we can't keep ourselves isolated. Like, I believe what they believe, and they believe what they want to believe. Well, what they want to believe is to destroy the Republic, and then they're going to come after you. And that's the problem. So it's good that we're not brainwashed, but be mindful and always look over your shoulder. And I'll leave you with this. It's a funny one that I saw. You know, I wouldn't want to win the lottery because it would change my life, and I'm happy like I am, and I would pay too many taxes or any of that nonsense. I love this meme where it says, I would like to think money wouldn't change me, but I won $5 on a scratch-off lottery ticket and immediately bought brand-name aluminum foil. I thought that was funnier than hell. And you know the weird part is, what's good about memes, especially the funny ones, they're funny because they're partially true. People, millions, are so close to the chest with their money because things are going so badly economically with the inflation and other things that they're really counting their pennies this badly. So if they did win $5, it wouldn't be outrageous to say I'll buy the name brand aluminum foil. So I'll leave it here. You know, I play a lot of memes. I put memes on my community posts, and I do video memes once in a while. And I normally don't do any commentary. Sorry, I'm putting this picture up at the end. I mean, is that horrific or what? Wow. And the weird part is, if you just take away the face part, she looks exactly like that. With that sour puss, angry. Just how do these people succeed and become so powerful and have so much money? It's absolute mystery to me. Mystery. So I'll leave it off at that. I hope you like some of the comment. I don't normally comment on memes and some of the funny stuff and the political memes that I do, but I thought I'd do it just for the heck of it. Take a break from the chaos that's going on in the world in the United States with wars and politics, and you just need to take a breather. Recharge your batteries, pick yourself up, and move on. Again, I want to thank everyone that subscribed to my channel. It's coming up to almost 7,000. I am very personally greatly appreciative, and let's just keep pushing through. This channel's being suppressed, and we all know it, and not just me, but thousands of other channels are. But we're not going to give up. We're going to push through. So I hope this made you maybe think about some issues, and I hope you got a good laugh out of it as well. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.